right here. All right.
Well, then you edit this, I guess.
Real friends. How many of us?
And welcome back to We're Not Friends, the podcast.
We need to figure out a more, consistent opening. 'Cause I feel like it's not like it's your fault, because I have no idea what to do either. You know what I mean? It's like, we're just kind of hi.
But, that could be our brand, because I was listening to some podcasts earlier, and they have, a written thing for every time, which is, cool, because it's uniform, but at the same time, it was kind of boring. So it's like,
so maybe we just
if you never know what's going to fucking happen.
Let's just have an awkward-ass opening every fucking time. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys, welcome to my podcast. Today I'm going to talk about how many friends I have. And it's 0. That's the update.
Because we're not friends.
Because we're not friends.
Yay. All right. Well, we're drinking this.
Don't we need to introduce ourselves, Ben? As you
yeah.
pointed out to me many a
you don't
time.
ever seem to want to. So
I'm Sydney.
You're not gonna do both. You're just gonna do. And I'm Ben.
And this is We're Not Friends, as previously mentioned about 5 different times already.
Yeah.
A podcast born of beer and boredom.
Nailed it.
Speaking of beer, what are we
Yeah.
drinking today?
I got us Elysian. That's the brewery, and it's called Dayglow IPA. It's this dope ass neon tiger with lasers coming out of his eyes on the front. But they say this is their little description. It's kind of funny. Dayglow crashes the party with the juicy beat of hops, dripping with tropical, sunshiny mosaic and sparkling with touches of El Dorado and Sentinel, whatever. And then it goes, in all caps, you see that, contains wheat.
If you weren't aware that beer contains wheat,
This contains wheat.
we got an update for you.
7.4% alcohol by volume. So
we
go.
in this bitch. Yeah, it's Elysian. We decided to look it up before because we hadn't had this, and Ben just kind of picked it up.
stumbled upon it.
Elysian is a Seattle brewery. They've got all kinds of cool shit. Dayglow just happens to be super tasty, and like you said, it's got a bomb-ass tiger with lasers coming out of its eyes. So, yeah, if you're ever in the mood for an IPA that's tasty and still hoppy but pretty light, check out Elysian's Dayglow IPA. Sponsor us, or
Yeah.
fucking don't, I guess, if you're not cool.
Someone with beer sponsor us, please. That'd be. I saw your tweet at MeUndies.
Come on, MeUndies.
MeUndies.
Let's fucking do it.
That was the first video.
Starting the segment without me, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was trying to pause it, but I guess it's not gonna let me pause it. It's gonna play the audio.
I mean, that's fine.
Because it's Instagram, so. But yeah, so bringing back the bit from last time.
I'm excited because I don't know what these videos are.
And this
Ben's
first
been
video,
laughing
this
whole
first
time.
video is right on brand, man. It's perfect. I don't know. I'm gonna pause it. I don't know. So you can just.
That's the thing about Instagram.
It sucks.
It sucks.
Like how can I guess
Just
I could
kidding.
just.
Love you, Instagram. Follow us. We're Not Friends Podcast. Instagram.
I guess I could just go back.
Got some
You can
dope
click
pictures.
on it, but at the same time, I don't want you to see the other videos. But whatever, it doesn't matter. The one right next to it, I might not show you. It's not really super funny. So click on that one with the bowl of cereal. The volume should be on. It's right there in the middle. Yeah.
Okay.
Cocoa Puffs, Cocoa Nuts, Cocoa Nuts, Cocoa Nuts.
I'm so upset. Oh my god.
Cocoa Puff. Wait, what we're talking.
Cocoa Puffs, Cocoa Nuts.
All right, describe what you just saw.
Well, I just saw a bowl of cereal.
Cocoa Puffs. Be specific.
It was Cocoa Puffs. It was the kind of quality of video where they've got the flashlight on, or they've got the light on, and of course you hear the man say Cocoa Puffs, and then of course out of the corner of your eye you
Zooms out a little bit.
see his nutsack and he pours milk on it.
And his balls are in the bowl of cereal.
I think for me that was the most disturbing and hilarious part, was that he poured the milk right on his nuts.
Yeah, he poured it right on his nuts in the bowl. They're literally in the bowl. And he's an African American gentleman, so that's why it's Cocoa Puffs, Cocoa Nuts. That's why it's funny. Like, that's right on brand, baby.
We're Not Friends is here delivering you nutsack videos of all kinds.
What'd you say? I hope you're not allergic to nuts, or you don't have a nut allergy.
I was glad that Derek liked that. That was good.
Oh my god, that's. I saw that. I was like, "Yep." That was like the first one I saw. You can see it's the first one I like. I think it was the first one when I was like, "Yes, like that." Actually, no, that was probably the newest.
Fucking nuts.
Oh my god, it's
Jesus
so funny.
Christ.
Do you want to see more? Or do you have any for me?
I didn't.
Or do you not come prepared for the show today?
I mean, the only problem is that like all the videos that I have are like really old Vines that I don't know if you've seen. So, were you big about Vine? Did you like Vine?
I did not really get
No?
into Vine.
Well,
I mean, I watched.
I got
seen
the
like
shit for you.
the big ones, obviously. You know, the ones. I don't know.
Vine was just
Most likely, if you show me something, I probably haven't seen it. So.
dope.
That was like that one with that kid spinning the staff and saying he's like, "I've got the power of anime." I was gonna show you that one, but I know you saw it. Like you saw it before it got. I was like, yeah, that one was like way too popular.
I have the power of God and anime on my side.
I saw that so early, and then like a week later, I saw that like somebody like tweeted at you. And I was like, damn it.
Yep. Actually, I think Anna tweeted it at me. Thanks, Anna, for that good content.
I wonder what next one should I show you.
He's got so many.
I've got 6 ready to go. I don't know if we'll go through all of them, but I at least want to show you like 3 of them.
Have you seen the ASMR lady, the older black woman? She like is typing on a computer next to like a Yeti microphone like I've got, and she's like chewing on pickles and shit.
No.
Oh man, does that kind of stuff? Because that actually bothers me, like loud mouth sounds and stuff. So those videos bother me, but at the same time they're hilarious.
Well, they don't bother me, no.
Oh, they freak me out. Oh man. Well, all I've got here is some fucking Donald Trump videos, so those aren't even funny. They're just sad.
Crazy stuff out in these streets.
That's why we're bringing you this fresh, juicy content, guys.
I mean, I can queue up another one. Click. All right, go for this one with this girl and the banana. See, I thought this was funny because I want to show this one to Ellen because we have a joke about bananas, but like. Wait. I made a mess. He's like,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I just like how that video just totally slammed her for looking like a fucking retard. Because she's like, get out of here. Oh, God. I love that one.
So in that video, a young woman was shoving a banana down her esophagus.
Trying to be all sexy.
And then...
With the Drake saying, I can see that you've been practicing. Like, oh. Why would you record that and like post that? That's so weird. But then, yeah.
They cut to a young Asian man doing the same thing with a banana, but he gets it about halfway down his throat and he pukes.
He pukes and goes, oh, I made a mess. The way he says that, like, seems so genuine. Like, like, you know, when you throw up and you can't really talk. You're like,
Yeah.
Oh, man. I thought that was,
Oh, God. It's just too damn good.
Shit. Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Nuts.
Oh my
He
god.
just drenches his nuts in milk.
Not even on my profile anymore.
Nuts. Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Nuts.
Oh god! The first time I saw it, I didn't understand it because like those balls are really on the edge of the frame.
They're really
You
far.
almost don't notice it. That's the first time I watched it. I was like, "What?" And then I really watched it again. I was like, "Holy shit! Those are his balls in that bowl of cereal." Gosh, perfect framing.
Oh, this one's really funny to me. I don't know if you'll find it quite as funny.
Press on it.
Yep, just click on it.
Is this coming to me? Yes, I can do it by myself this time. Okay, this is coming to me.
What the
Yes, I
fuck?
can do it by myself this time. Okay, this is coming to me.
I like it. Okay, like, alright, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yes, I can do it by myself.
That's
this
like some
time.
actual bong water. Well, maybe, I don't know. God. Sloppy Joe did this. Or at least posted it. Yeah, it's some kid who's... This kid's probably like 13. With a bong. He was like, yes, I can do it this time. That's so funny, because you see, like, smoking with people, like, they say some shit like that. Like, oh, yeah, I know how to do it. And they fuck it up. And he puts it to his mouth and just blows all the water out.
There's another Vine. I don't have it anywhere on my Twitter or anything, but...
Yes, I can do it by myself this time.
That's funny just because, like, you've seen so many people say that. Like,
yeah.
what are these little things? Are these just for holding? Like,
Yeah,
what?
it's a pop socket.
So that's just literally so you can hold it better? Or what is it for exactly? I see so many people with these circles on the back. And I'm like, because I see you had it, so they started noticing them a lot on other people's phones. So I was like, are those just for, like, holding your phone?
And on today's segment of Ben is an old man.
Well, yeah, I'm not in tune with the kids and the Instagrams and the, oh, it pops in and out.
Yeah, no.
Whoa! It goes boop, boop, boop.
And then, here, actually, sit it down. I put mine on really unevenly because I'm a dipshit, but you can make it like a stand,
Yeah,
too. So
that's-
just like...
Yeah. Yours doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
No. Damn.
Yep.
I guess that's when you're really into your phone. See, I don't like...
Pop socket, if you want to sponsor us, that'd be really dope.
That is an actually pretty nifty device. And this probably cost nothing to make. And they probably made a shit ton of money off this shit.
We sell them at my place of work, which I will not name, for like $10. But I got mine for
Really?
free. I got mine for free as an employee sample. So
This probably cost them like 75 cents to make.
it's like on Shark Tank where they're like, yeah, we produced this for like literally 3
10 cents and we sell it for $20. It's like, holy shit,
And the
dude.
sharks write it down. They're like, oh, okay,
And I've
good.
seen so many people with these since I like noticed it on yours. I was like, what exactly is that? And then I see it all the time now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They come with cool designs too from time to time. So, but I want to just plain black because that's how I fucking roll.
You want me to show you another one?
Yeah.
All right. Oh shit, which one should
Oh, but like I was saying, there's a Vine. I thought this was kind of funny because I don't think I've got it anywhere on my Twitter at the moment, but it's like this girl and she's like obviously playing two different parts. It's like someone's lighting up and they're like, oh hey man, no, it's my hit. She's like, what are you talking about? You didn't buy, like you didn't pitch in. She goes, it's my fucking lighter. What? It's like, you know that person too. You know that person that brought
People
their
are,
fucking
like,
lighter.
So weird with stuff like that. I'm picking between two.
stuff.
You want one that's an actual... This one's an actual skit, but I really like it. And this other one's like...
I've got the time.
The other one... We can just do both of them.
I got-
Like, fuck it. You know
I got
what?
319 hours
I'm
left
gonna
on my
say, fuck it. We're doing both. Or we'll do these last two, and then it'll be done. I'll be done. Click on that one with the guy with his butt hanging out. It's a good breed.
All right.
I thought this was... I don't even completely understand it, but it's so funny. That guy.
Okay. So first of all, my first question before I even explain what's happening is this a dude thing at all? Like just being like
Nobody does that. No, it's just
like
funny.
even just two guys like having one come up and be like, "Hey man, like I really gotta piss."
No, that doesn't happen.
No?
That doesn't
Okay,
happen.
I'm
That's
just
why
making
it's like
sure.
just absurd.
Because I figured like if you really had to piss that bad and someone was already in the bathroom, you just like step outside and just like, you know.
Yeah, no, you don't pee in the same toilet with anybody. That's weird. That doesn't happen. That's why it's so funny. Like,
Okay, so to describe what's happening in this video. First of all, there's one man with his ass hanging out. He's just got him pulled down enough he can whip out his dick
yeah.
to pee. A guy comes up, slaps him on the ass, like, hey. And then just, he starts peeing too. Another guy comes in, does the same thing.
Slaps both of them on the ass.
Slaps
So he
both
gives
of
him a
them on the ass.
double bare ass. You're seeing bare ass this whole time, by the way. And he goes, so there's three guys now peeing in the same toilet.
And then one guy, he's got to go real bad. You can tell. And he weasels in. That's what that little...
He goes, he runs in. And he sits down, though, because he has to poop.
And then they're all just
And
pissing
then
on him, apparently.
And then it cuts to them just all going with their heads up like, and pissing on. while
Turns
he
into
poops.
some weird water sports by the end.
You don't actually see any pee or anything the whole time. It's not actually going down. It's some skit somebody made, but I thought it was really funny.
Wow.
Like, oh god.
Jesus Christ.
What is that whistle? I don't remember ever hearing that.
It's like when Ethan talks about the slide whistle
That right
comedy.
there, like, what the fuck is that?
An old tiny slide whistle comedy.
I got another one of those videos where someone like throws a blanket up and they like disappear. You know, This one's really good though. You have to see that this one's.
I'm down.
So that's my last one.
Have we decided on a name for this segment?
I don't think so, but I'm open to suggestions.
Ooh, let's put it on Twitter. Let's let the people vote.
A poll, a Twitter poll.
Let's make a Twitter poll. See what goes down.
Well,
We'll just come up with a couple ideas.
Yeah,
We got this.
come up with some ideas.
This is for you guys. This is for the fans. We want you guys to interact.
I mean, some.
I think last time I said
50% of the videos have had balls in them, so I mean, should be said.
I said bring your meme last time, but something with balls might work since we've got a running theme.
All my
Balls or
videos
nuts
have
or-
involved nudity.
That's really
Except the
true.
one with the banana, but I mean that's her pretending
But, like,
to do
that's-
fellatio, so
yeah.
it's kind of in the same.
Yeah. Yep. Huh. Well,
I can't believe there's balls on Instagram, man. Has no one flagged that shit? I'm glad they haven't because they're funny.
people flag the weirdest shit. Like, you legit see porn on Instagram, and then someone posts like an
Instagram,
artsy
man. Just when
nude photo.
I was going through looking for stuff for this, like, yeah, it started giving me anxiety. Just all the shit people put on here. It's like, oh my god, this is just like, just the whole like, look at me, I'm hot, and just like, I don't know, people like just dying for likes and stuff. And I was like, I'm not even doing that. And this is like stressing me out. I don't know why. It's just like, I hate this. That's why I don't do social media that much. It like freaks me out.
Yeah.
Do you have any more? Or do you want to watch this last one?
I'm down for this last one.
All right, it's the one with that girl with the like red shirt.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Actually, I have seen this one
Have
on
you seen
Twitter.
that one? I thought that was really funny.
That is magic.
Magic.
Yeah, because I saw that one and it was like someone put like when you want to show Bay a magic trick or something, or like when you go on a Tinder date, you say you do magic.
I was like, she doesn't even try to leave. She's just like, oh. She's like, yeah, gotcha. Like,
She's got a fat ass too.
yeah, it's not bad to look at.
Proud of her. Proud of her.
It was, yeah. So it's one of those videos where people like throw a sheet up and then they're supposed to disappear, but she doesn't disappear and she just turns around and pulls her pants down.
Smacks
so
her ass.
when the video when the blanket drops, it's just her bare ass and she just smacks it. So funny. That one's real quick. So
It's quick and it's good and it's.
these other ones I'll save, or I don't know. I don't like them as much, but I'll have some in the hopper then. Dude, did you see these by the way? That's
I
that Wallace,
can't begin to
that
talk
Wallace
about
Day
it.
girl.
I-
Sydney's quivering.
I truly and honestly hope that she's the London girl with an attitude that Halsey fucked. Because can you imagine that shit? Like,
No, that's like
I mean, I can't objectify these women too much, but like at the same time,
it's
Shit.
That's too much attractive in one sexual intercourse. You know what I mean? Like that's just they're both so naturally just like stunning. It's like if they really hooked up.
Oof.
I mean, it's awesome, but at the same time, it's I don't know how the universe would not explode. Like they're.
I mean, and it's the fact that neither of them can reproduce, as far as I know, together. That's
Wish they
the
could.
only thing saving us from like actually imploding, because that would be a beautiful child.
Jeez,
Damn.
some crazy shit. But anyway, I just saw that as I was like exiting. I get caught up in my bookmarks of sexy ladies.
Can't leave without you, ladies.
But anyway, so those are the videos I had. I thought that was some.
Those are some fucking good.
Yeah, we need a name for that. We need some like intro music to it, and like we need to come up with some more segments too.
We got-
that's fun.
That is,
like,
that's a good, yeah.
like Cocoa Nuts.
And then hopefully I can just put the links to the videos in the description of
Yeah,
wherever this goes, because
people need to see them as
Yeah.
like it's You gotta see these.
That's why I was glad I could just scroll through your likes to find the nuts video from before.
Yeah, I was surprised when you put that. I was like, oh shit, she found it. These are all on Instagram. And I found all of those, I think, on the same feed.
Dope. Then they'll be easy to find.
They're all on the same feed, and then, like...
I do it for the people. I do it for the fans.
Yeah,
I'm out here repping for you.
You can tell that they've, like... Because I was going farther and farther back, and the farther back you go, the, like, lamer it gets. So, like, they've, like... morph their content into what I'm about. But like at the same time though, they're not that frequent. It was literally every like 25th post maybe. I was like, that one's funny. It wasn't like a lot, but when they had one good, it was really good. Like I was trying to find videos exactly like that, and I just was having trouble finding anything, and I just stumbled upon that
it's probably
account and found
a SoFlo-esque account where they're like stealing shit and
Oh,
some of
they're
it's good and
definitely,
some of
yeah.
it's not.
yeah, it's
So.
and there's definitely those like posts where it's like, oh, just like us, you know.
Maybe that can be our intro music. Post Malone singing "So Flow Like Antonio."
So flow like Antonio. They're supposed to make that music video. They still haven't done it.
I'm waiting on that shit, boys. If you're listening, I'm waiting on it. And I'm waiting on beer bongs and Bentleys. Come on.
Post? The fuck, dude? He's probably too busy moving now that he was doxxed.
Shit, we can't even get into that. Man.
Before we forget though, my 2 stories or whatever.
Yes. We got
so, like,
stories. It's story time.
I went to
Clickbait, not clickbait.
Once again, I know I talk too much on these podcasts, but I get so into the stories. That
Go ahead and tweet at Ben and let him know that he doesn't talk too much, and just give him a good
I
confidence
listen
boost.
to him and I'm like, Sydney needs to speak up more because I just get too into it. And then I feel like Ellen barely talked, and then but at the same time, he was like, oh yeah, tell that story. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then these are quick though. These are quick. So I went to Lollapalooza. What was it, like 2 weekends ago? I saw someone that's friends of the podcast there. I saw someone there.
Ooh.
So we're walking. It was the first day. We had just gotten there. Like literally, we'd been there for maybe a half hour. And so we hadn't even gone to a show yet. We're walking. It was like, I think it was me, Evan, and Mike. We're walking, and Evan sneezes twice, like real quick, just like, and whatever. And some random guy walking by goes, "Oh, double time!" And it was just like, okay, you know what I mean? It was really weird. You're like, okay, whatever. It was weird. Any normal person would have just been like, okay. But of course, Evan goes. His response. He looks at him. It took him a second. He turned, looked at the guy, and goes, and then he just goes, "Who the fuck are you?" He literally said that.
What?
And this guy, and listen to what this guy said. He turned and like he was older. He was in the 30s, like he was an adult. And he comes over and he goes, "Oh hey, I'm Reed." And I was like, "What?"
Are you fucking kidding?
I was like, I've never even met someone named Reed before. Like really? And then it was astonishing. He literally goes, "I'm Reed." And he like shook everyone's hand. I was like, holy shit, I can't even. I was like, where? I was like, I'm saving this for the like. I need to tell this story. Like,
I would have been absolutely
he like goes,
shook
"Oh
to
hey,
my
I'm
core.
Reed." Oh my god, Reed. What the fuck, Reed? Why were you causing shit at Lala?
Reed could have been here helping me with Audacity when it was fucking with me, and yet he was out there getting drunk,
Damn it,
fucking
Reed.
bitches.
With his wife. Reed's married. He was with his girl.
Damn, Reed, you a player, son.
Reed, damn son. But yeah, that was funny.
I can't. That's crazy.
Well, isn't that like?
You've never met anyone named Reed
I don't
before?
think so. That's why it was so weird when you said that name. I was like, that's such a random name. And then I go there, and the first person random encounter we have, my name's Reed. What? You kidding me right now? Jeez. It was funny. And then the other thing I saw, same day. The 2 craziest things, same day.
Was this the first day you guys went?
Yeah. I was with Mike, because Mike only came the first day, and he was there for both these. So me, Mike, and Evan are walking to one of the stages that's like in the woods, kind of. There's like a lot of trees.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I just like hear something. And I look over, and this dude is on one knee peeing on a tree. Just in public, at a stage. Like, there's people all around. There's people standing on the other side of the tree. And he is peeing, and that's what I was hearing. He was peeing so forcefully. It was like a fire hose. It was just like, and like, just power washing the side of this tree, man. Just on one knee, just knelt, just like so gracefully. Just like, Like he could, you could tell it's like he just couldn't make it because he was going, and we were like, and no one was reacting to it. No one else was even looking at it, and I was like, what the fuck? I just go, guys, he's peeing on that tree, and we're all like, what the fuck? Like we're dying, dude. It was so funny.
Power washing the tree.
He was, and then Mike even goes, and you could tell that dude wasn't drunk. He was hydrated. That shit was clear. It was like he wasn't. It was just he had to go and miscalculated because it was kind of hard to find the bathrooms this year. They weren't in the normal places they usually were, but it was just insane. He's literally in the middle of one of the stages, just peeing on a tree, one knee. People literally standing on the other side of the tree. It was insane. I was like, what the fuck?
Man,
it was so funny.
He truly came for the music.
He did not even give a fuck, dude. He did not. I mean, I guess he could have been drunk, but his pee didn't. You know, usually if you're drunk and been drinking beer all day or whatever, your pee's not gonna be clear.
Yeah.
It was like clear. It was like, I don't know. It was
maybe that was the pee before. Maybe he had like a camelback or something. He just chugged some water and he said,
could have been drinking
Let's
Camelback. Yeah.
Get fucked.
Could have been
up.
drinking some like hard alcohol and had his Camelback or something, but it was funny.
We'll never know.
He was hydrated. Whatever it was, he was hydrated. So
yeah. I'm proud of him.
It was funny.
Mystery Man, if you're out there, we want to have you on.
We'll have you on, P-Man.
P-Man?
Just on one knee, man. Just knee-man, P-Man. Just
knee-man, P-Man. That'd be great if we found that guy and then just the episode's called Knee-Man, P-Man.
On the Pepsi stage, you were peeing on a tree. If you hear this one day. It was funny.
Let us know.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit. I've never seen somebody just publicly pee like that. And he was like close to the road too. Like he wasn't that far in. So like, I mean, there's cops walking all over the place. They would have been like, dude, I don't know. It was funny. It was really funny.
Knee-man, P-man.
So those are my two funniest slalom stories.
Those are incredible.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Jesus
I saw a girl
Christ.
trying to pee in the urinals too. She was in the urinals trying to she was just fucked up, and some guy was with her, and she was just like staying there in her underwear. Because I walked in and I saw like a row of like 4 urinals open. I was like, why are these open? It's like awesome. And I go to walk to it and I just see this girl staying in her underwear next to it, trying to like attempt to get up to it and pee, and like this dude standing next to her laughing. And I was like, oh, that's why everyone was like, fuck that, and walked away. I was like, I like how Lala just unanimously was like, I ain't even getting involved in this. I don't want to even get close to it. I'm not getting accused of anything. I'm walking away from that situation. I was like, nice job, everybody. That's what my thought was, too.
You know, it's like, for safety reasons for her and yourself, it's like, you gotta just, walk away. You don't want to whip your dick out right next to her while she's
For real.
fucked up and trying to pee.
It was weird.
Jesus.
Yeah. That was weird this year. There's a lot of little kids. Like, a lot of, like, high school kids, like a lot of kids like 20 and younger in high school age. It was really weird.
That's weird because I saw a tweet the other day that was like, because they were already like, they said, thank you for Lala this year. Next year, like August, whatever days, 2018, we'll be, doing it. And someone said, make it 18 plus this time. And I guess I didn't realize it wasn't 18 plus, other than the fact you can go to like Kid Palooza or whatever.
There's no age limit, but yeah, this year, I don't know why. The whole vibe.
They offer beer and it's much older and everything.
Yeah, because usually every year I've gone, most of the crowd is like mid to late 20s, like early 30s. That's the majority. This year, 20 and younger, even younger than that, but mostly like high school kids. It was really weird. It changed the whole vibe of like the crowds and like, I don't know. It was really weird. Yeah. And other people said that too that I talked to. Like, I wouldn't even bring it up, and they'd be like, yeah, what's up with all the high school kids this year? I was like, I know. What the fuck? I don't know. It was really weird. I don't know, just because maybe the lineup was more attractive to them, or I don't know.
The thing about the lineup, though, is like, even though I personally didn't like the lineup as much.
I didn't either.
It was still, I mean, like, names that you really only know if you're, like, pretty into music and you're, like Joey Badass and, like... Yeah.
The Joey Badass.
Like even Lorde. Like Lorde, she's got a couple hits, but at the same time, if you love Lorde, that's when you're gonna go see her. You're not just gonna go see her and be like, I love,
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I don't
Royals
know why
or whatever.
The crowd was weird. The crowd was really weird. I don't know. I mean, it was fun, like it always is, but at the same time, I don't know. It was not one of my favorite years, just because like the crowds were so young, and I think it felt like they let more people in more this year than they ever have. Like it was Saturday and Sunday were insane. They were absolutely insane. But at the same time, the one stage on Sunday was like every rapper was on one stage, and then like Lil Yachty was on the stage right next to it. So I think I was just caught up in that like little because it went Black, Sampha, Joey Badass, Ray Shrimmerd, and then Lil Yachty was playing at the same time as right before Joey Badass on the stage right next to it. So that side of the park was just mayhem. Yeah. It was wild. I don't know.
We should probably introduce our topic today.
Oh shit. Anti-science now. We don't believe in science or women's rights or you just get real crazy and we're Nazis. And that's the new direction of the podcast. It's like, holy shit, they just went from 0 to 100 quick.
From being like very non-political, all of a sudden we're like, and by the way,
hey, we're all friends and gay friendly here, but we're also Nazis now. Whoa, hey, left turn, yikes.
More like a right turn.
Whoa, an alt-right turn. And that's our political talk, as us just going, ooh.
And there it is.
Those guys are weird, right? Anyway.
As much as I would love to talk about that, you know what?
At the same time, I don't want to talk about that.
That's not the podcast. Yeah. This is not the podcast for it, so...
We'll make another podcast called Fuck You Nazis.
Suck it, Trump. Fuck Nazis.
Politics sucks.
Just
with
be
Ben and
a
Sydney
cool bitch.
And well, that's... But anyway,
that should be just be a cool bitch.
Yeah.
With Ben and Sydney.
Just be a cool bitch. That's a good name, dude. That's a
good
name for a podcast. Just be a cool bitch.
Just read headlines together and just be like, you know what?
And all we say is,
just be a cool bitch.
We don't even really comment on that much. We just go, dude, just be a cool bitch. I always
like Nazis had a Confederate rally today. Be like, just be a cool bitch. Come on.
So and so.
Stop fucking around.
Is accused of domestic violence. Just be a cool bitch, dude. Like, why are you doing that?
Be cool to a bitch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Shit. We got steal this idea, or we will sue you, you motherfuckers.
We'll literally fucking find you. We got shooters out here.
We run these streets.
I say, and we have like 5 fans.
Yeah. Hey, like 20 people listen to us. That's a lot of people.
Getting those 30 views, getting those 20 views, like...
Dude, I seriously think that's a lot.
That's
like,
so cool.
Shout out to everybody listening to that. That is so many more people listening to this than I thought would.
And then we can look back.
Especially when 90% of it is me talking and sounding like a dick. And I don't realize it till I listen to it later.
But, like, that's cool to think about that, you know, really, someday the end goal is to at least have, like, a moderately big podcast, have some followers, have some fun.
Honestly, just, like, I said before this started, remember, I was like, if 50 people ever listen to this, like, in literally, like, months, and 50 people listen, right off the bat, we had 30 listens. I was like, what? I could not believe that.
I think that one's topped out at, like, 36 streams.
Still.
And it doesn't just count your stream if you just click on it and go, oh, whatever. It, like, you have to listen to a substantial amount of it for it to count as a stream, so.
That's wild.
I don't know.
So I don't even really tell that many people about it, so it must be your crew. It must be your fans. It's the Sydney squad that's listening.
It's the Sidsters, guys.
I don't know if anyone I know, I mean, I think Derek probably listened to it because he's retweeted it and stuff a couple times. Shout out, D-Rock.
Derek Zyke. What's up, boy? Thanks for retweeting me.
We should get him as a guest.
Yes, we should.
Or we could just go to his place. We can go to his place and record it in his outdoor living room thing in his backyard. It's dope. It's funky. It's fresh.
Yeah.
But anyway, those are plans.
We got moves. We're making moves. It's fine. But so to all the OG listeners, just remember us shouting you out right now on day 1 and. When we're big,
to, podcast 200, we'll be like, oh yeah, shout out to all you motherfuckers.
When we're doing live podcasts in theaters and shit,
shouting out people like Anna, who you sent me a tweet, or you sent me a screenshot of your text conversation an hour after it came out, and she's like, I love it, and I'm like, that's the #1 fan, the original fan, right there.
She was listening to it at work. She was at work, this is the only thing getting me through the end of the day. So.
Honestly, like I said, I think it's amazing anyone's listened to it. I literally thought maybe we'd get to 10.
Yeah.
And the fact that literally you sent me a screenshot and it was like, look at this, and it said like 31. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And that was the first like day, or first 2 days or whatever. I was like, oh man. Like I said, I was telling you, I told my sister, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this podcast. She's like, does anybody listen to it? I was like, 30 people listened to the first one. She's like, holy shit. Even she's like, whoa, that's so many people. I was like, yeah, I know, dude. That was.
And I mean, if you think about it in terms of the fact that it's a podcast, because like a YouTube video that you post, even if you got 31 views in the first day or the first week, and you're not a big YouTuber at all, like you don't know anybody, like, and you just tell your friends, hey, watch my YouTube video.
Yeah, we have no visual component or anything. It's just listening.
31 people, like the first week, just listening to us talk, like.
It's wild. That and some, like
listening
you said,
to us be drunk.
We have no existing like online persona, like, you know what I mean? We're not like YouTube creators or anything where it's like, hey, let's just try this.
Yeah, shit. I mean,
unbelievable.
Like, how many followers do I have on my Twitter? Like, maybe 300, maybe.
I have over 100, but not that much over.
Yeah, I have 315 followers, and I mean, a lot of those are people I went to high school with, people that I go to college with, just like.
I hadn't followed like everyone from high school and stuff. I was like, I just got tired of hearing their stuff, so I just unfollowed so many people. I still have like over 100.
Them locals.
I've literally had over 100 for years, but I think like it's changed who's been following me. So I've probably had like 500 different people follow me over the course of those years, but it still stayed at like 110 the whole time. People, like, I just unfollow them and they're like, oh, fuck you.
Well, and it's funny to like, if you get on your personal Twitter and you, like, the evolution of the things you say or the things you retweet and stuff like that, and then noticing like, oh, really weird that all of a sudden like, this person doesn't follow me anymore. Wonder why. Yeah. Like when I came out or when I started tweeting about Ellen and stuff, and people were like, you lose a couple followers, you gain a couple, and you're like,
yeah, whatever, dude.
Guess you're not real.
Cutting them out. Fuck it.
Cut them out.
They're not going to want to listen to that, and they're not really people you're going to want to talk to anyway, right?
Want to be a homophobe? That's chill.
I was showing my sister the like social media that we have, and she was like, 12 followers? That's a lot. Like, Jesus. I was like, yeah, we just started that. She's like, that's crazy.
One of these days, like, we just need to sit down and do a follow spree together so we can just, like, be like, hey, we like you. We like you. Yeah. Like, just different big people, too, because, like, I mean, on our Instagram, we've gotten a couple people that are, like, podcasters or, like, they do, like, different shit. And I followed them, and they followed us back, and I was like,
really? Some people.
What's up?
Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah.
With a couple hundred followers, and I'm like,
damn, boy. Yeah.
What you gotta do is use some hashtags, because I hate using hashtags. I don't use them on my personal,
but
I
saw you like usually comment like a second comment that has
so
like
that it's not visible immediately.
Yeah, a million hashtags. That's a good way to do it. Yeah, I know.
I'm a smart bitch.
Yeah.
All right, Reed. First pee break, and then we will get to our topic.
Oh wait, are we gonna tell them? We started to introduce the topic, and then we got into hey, we love you guys listening spree. So maybe.
Sorry that we decided to love you guys.
Are we just gonna leave it as a cliffhanger, even though
some clickbait?
It'll be a cliffhanger, even though you'll hear it immediately because the us going to the bathroom will be cut. So cliffhanger.
And we're back from our extended pee break, but you don't know that because I'm a master editor. And a master
I don't know about
baiter.
That because how long did it take you to come out with that last episode? No. Boy.
So we decided before this episode that we have a special topic today. Got a special topic. It's something I'm very passionate about, and once again, the title is We're Not Friends. So I didn't even know whether or not Ben felt the same way about this topic, so I just had to ask.
And here we are.
I am a believer in the supernatural, specifically ghosts. Ben, what are you feeling about ghosts?
Ghosts are real, man. That shit's real.
Ghosts are fucking real as hell.
It's something. Something's happening. Like I was saying earlier, whether it's what people think of like stereotypically when you think of a ghost, or whether it's like something else, there's something not explainable happening in the world when like certain things like that like pop up. Yeah. Like
it's almost like it's like kind of, I don't know, it's almost ignorant to believe that there's not. Yeah. Even if it's just like
there's
more like the hippy dippy version of like energy like that exists out there.
Like I said, yeah, you know? Even if it's like leftover energy from some crazy events or a person, or
to just believe that you live and you die and that's kind of it. It's like
There's something going on.
you leave a mark here in some sort of way. Like there's gotta be some shit that happens, you know?
Yeah, there's something going on. I don't know.
Like you can't tell me you've never like driven through or walked through a graveyard and just like it feels different. Not even just the thought of it, like it feels different.
You go through, or you know, you're somewhere and you're like, this place feels. There's like vibes to it. You know what I mean? And it even if it's like
a vibe.
Even if it's a place that's not like some stereotypical run-down, haunted-looking house. Sometimes you go to a house and you're like, this place has a weird... You know what I mean? Like, oh, this doesn't feel... This feels like a little evil in here. Or you go in somewhere like this... You know, like some things that... There's something going on. Whether it's literally like a ghost or just weird energy or something... There's something paranormal, I guess you would say, is going on. I definitely think ghosts are real, though. Yeah. I guess I was telling you, I used to watch, like, for a year or two, I watched ghost videos, like, on YouTube all the time.
I do it, like, every other week.
So interesting. And they're always, like, kind of scary. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I need it.
And it doesn't matter how fake it is, too. Like, I mean, unless it's, like, really, like... Yeah. Someone photoshopped that directly into the video.
Yeah, so, like I said, you can tell the real ones from the fake ones most of the time. And... So, it's not that hard to kind of decipher. Like, you'll start a video and be like, oh, this is fucking stupid. Yeah. But, you know, what was H3, the Lance videos, like, with this jerk-off lotion that's cut in half. Yeah. You can watch videos and be like, yeah, that's bullshit.
Or he calls that number and it's a fax machine.
Yeah, it's a fax machine, dude.
It's like, sorry you weren't born in the fucking 90s, but...
That's what I want to ask you, though. Do you have any actual, like... paranormal stories? Like, did you ever go somewhere and like see a ghost or have something like, this is weird?
So not like ones that are very concrete. Yeah. And like I always doubt myself no matter what it is, but like I've always had to question things, but like
skeptical, just like, you know, reasonable, intelligent person. Yeah. You know.
And it's funny that you mentioned like houses that, you know, they're not the typical rundown houses. Like you walk into a house and you're like, yeah, something's going on here. There's my dad, he's flipped houses for a long time, like since I was like 12 or so, like 11 or 12. He's been flipping houses for a long time, and we've gone on quite a few different like little excursions to go check out houses that are on the market. And this one of the last few times I was home, it was still pretty cold out. I remember that. So this was a little while ago, but we went and checked out a house that isn't too far from where I live, but I live out in the middle of like fucking nowhere. So like the house is 5 minutes away from where I live. And we walked in, and I had been joking with my mom about like, I was like, let's find a house that's really spooky. Like, let's find a house that's haunted. Because I'm always talking about that. I'm like, let's find a haunted house. We were walking around the house, and the realtor, she was like, this house was built at this time, and like, so you're gonna have to want to do this to the roof and this to the plumbing, and like, you know, my dad's like, oh, okay. And he was in the middle of saying something. Everyone was standing completely still. Like, completely still. And the neighbors, they weren't home. Like, because we had kind of, like, been peeking, because they were really close to... It's like a neighborhood where all the houses are really close. We kind of were peeking to see, and no one was home. And all of us distinctly heard an old man start talking.
What? Really?
I mean, like, I've never seen even my dad kind of, like, do one of those, like, look around kind of things. My dad's pretty skeptical of stuff. Like, me and my mom are like, you know, we're on some shit, but my dad, he was like, did anybody else hear that? And I was losing it. I was like, holy crap. Like, I just talked about ghosts. Yeah. And it was like, it was very, very obvious that it was in like an old man voice. I mean, I don't know if someone had been walking outside and we just didn't see it. Yeah, that could be it. Someone was walking around the house.
Sometimes, like, when someone walks by a house and talks, like, on the other side of the wall, it sounds, like, really close. Or, like,
but I mean, it sounded like, and it sounded like the sentence was cut off, too, almost. Like he didn't get to finish what he was saying.
Jeez. It was just really... Did you, like, make out what it was saying? Like,
I'm trying to remember. It was just something very basic, just like...
Nothing of note. Not, you're gonna die. Get out!
Nothing like what they hear on Ghost Adventures, but it was just like... I don't know, something really, really basic.
That's pretty wild, though.
It was
to
kind
the
of...
point that everyone's like, can't explain
The
that.
real
You know what I
estate
mean?
agent, she was like...
Still buy this house, please?
And she's, like, good friends with my dad and my mom, too, because they, like... They're kind of... She's their go-to person for looking at houses, and she was like...
the houses a lot with her.
She's like, that's... I mean, I've run into some stuff before, but, like, that was kind of crazy. So, that was... We definitely all heard something.
Houses, man, they're always, like, the hubs of weird... But, I mean, I'm also a believer in that whole... Like, kind of the energy you put out is what you're gonna get back kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
which is why it was crazy that I just
some,
mentioned
like,
ghosts.
weird... fucking shitty people, bad things are gonna happen to you just because you're negative, you know what I mean? And like, you know what I mean? It's kind of perception, but at the same time, like, you attract that.
That's why it drives me nuts when like ghost shows, or like even like on the internet, like on YouTube, people go to like Waverly Hills and they're like, come fuck with us, spirits, like, come, like, oh, you like, you did this to a person, or you committed suicide, like, say something. It's like, I don't care if you believe or not, if you're a skeptic or not, that is still, like, not a good thing to put out there.
Yeah.
That's like people who fuck with Ouija boards and they're like, ooh, it's still like some, like, shit.
There's something to the
What do you think's gonna happen?
The kind of energy you put out, you attract that.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's just you being negative and negative people, like, start to hang out with you, or literally, like, you attract some weird energy. Like, there's something to that, like... You know, if you're positive through your whole life, things are gonna seem positive and brighter to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's something to like that.
Yeah.
So like, if you go somewhere where like some shitty people lived, more likely probably to have like a shitty vibe and shitty things, like shitty ghosts and shitty weird things happening or something, you know, or like some darker shit going on.
I even read a thing on Twitter the other day, which was crazy. It was like, this guy started talking about, he goes, I don't care like what you believe, where like in terms of the paranormal or supernatural, but like when I am in a depressed state, or when I'm like feeling more depressive than normal, I feel like I'm more susceptible to negative energy, negative supernatural things.
I mean,
like,
yeah, that makes sense.
And I was like, holy shit, because he like kind of wrote a little mini thread about it, and people were like, oh my god, like, I've never really thought about that, but that's happened to me before. And it's like, well, fuck.
Well, yeah, and then, because that, and you see, like, you know, even, like, scary movies, or, you know, you hear ghost stories where people are, like, the people that have had something traumatic happen to them, then they, like, start, you know what I mean? There's something about, like, just you're a little in a weaker state, I think, you know what I mean? So that you're more susceptible to something trying to come at you, maybe, you know, especially something if it's, like, an evil, mean spirit or something, or
something,
you know
like
what I mean?
Demonic even too, like demons prey on that kind of stuff.
Or you know, like the same time they go after kids just because they're weaker. You know, you hear that. I think there's something to that. That makes sense to me.
Did you?
I believe it.
Have you seen the what's the movies about Ed and Lorraine Warren? Oh shit! Why can't I think of it? The Conjuring. Have you seen the Conjuring series?
No, I haven't seen that. That's one of the ones I haven't gotten into.
Those...
It takes a lot for me to watch a scary movie, because usually I watch them and I'm like, didn't really do much for me.
The Conjuring, both of them are really good. Like, the first one's obviously a little bit better, but I mean, they're based off of real things that have happened. They have audio from Ed and Lorraine, like, interviewing...
Oh, I like when movies do that. They take, like, the real audio. Like, some of I never saw it, but that movie, Exorcism of, like, Emily Rose. I never saw that, but I know they had, like, the real audio in that and shit. I wanted to watch that. The problem is, I don't have many friends that want to watch scary movies. Like, I like to watch scary movies, and 90% of my friends, like, don't want anything to do with that. Derek's terrified of scary movies.
Down.
Like, and we're, like, I saw that first Insidious. I thought that was sick. That was a good movie. I thought it was kind of weird.
I like Insidious, but like...
I liked it because it was just a little different, and they like go in that weird world and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I just didn't find the Thing very scary.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find that little like ghost demon bitch thing scary, but you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, That's why lately I haven't
Be
really
a cool
gotten it.
bitch, demon.
It's like
Be a
what,
cool
like
bitch.
Paranormal Activity. I tried to watch one of those one time. I'm like, this is so fucking boring. This is unbelievable. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. So like, it takes a lot for me to watch like a scary movie because I just usually don't find them scary.
Well, and poltergeists, like in movie and stuff, are not scary. But thinking about an actual poltergeist is terrifying.
Like you're just sitting somewhere and everything starts fucking
shit starts flying off the wall. Things are shaking.
I've seen videos of that and like the people literally freaking out and like running away, and I'm like, oh man, yeah.
There's that like
that would be terrifying.
There's that super classic video of like a Blockbuster in like New Mexico or something. The guy's like putting away movies.
Where they
and,
start
like,
flying off the shelf.
One just falls off, and he like looks over. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that, And then like 2 or 3, and then everything starts shaking, and like the camera's shaking, and like shit falls, and it's like, ooh.
I've just seen ones of like kitchens or whatever, and like cabinets will start like
yes,
and things will start flying out, and you can the person was staying there, and then they start like they're like again they just run away, and you're like, and you really think about it, you're like, the way the person was reacting behind that camera, they didn't fake that. You know what I mean? Like they were freaking out. Like I totally bought that reaction.
They were freaking out enough to set up a camera and be like, shit is happening in my house.
There's usually an explanation like something weird was happening, so I set up a camera, I sat up all night, and then like it happens, and like they freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I've seen the videos that you're talking about. I guarantee it, because like the stuff, it moves so slowly that it could have been someone like pulling on something. Like it's the way it opens that it's like purposeful. It's like, I'm here. What the fuck are you gonna do about it?
Sometimes they just swing open and they like slam, and it's like you couldn't really like do that with like a string or something.
Slamming especially. Like
you know what I mean?
slamming,
like you couldn't really like just do that fake unless you had something like some electronic thing hooked up.
I mean,
to
you
it,
really have to jerry rig it that much and
Yeah.
care that much for
You know what
it,
I do a lot too is I read a lot of those like people telling story. They're not videos, but just like a paragraph or two of people telling like this fucked up thing happened to me one time.
There's
It was like a couple years ago or whatever. Was it that like creepypasta?
Oh fuck, creepypasta.
There's some good ones on there, dude. You read them and you're like, holy shit, I'm like scared, and I'm just reading. I'm reading and I'm like, holy shit. It's wild, man. There's some crazy shit out there. Like, and it's like some of this has to be some of it, some people are probably just really good at writing, but at the same time, sometimes you're like, no, like this actually happened.
My cousin and I, we used to scare ourselves to death because we would stay at my grandma's house like for the weekend. That was just kind of like, our hangout. And we would, she had...
Hang out at Grammy's.
Well...
I'm just kidding.
It was one of those things like we lived like 40 minutes apart. My grandma was like the middle spot. And then also she just like let us do whatever. So we would hang out in the basement because that's where we had like our beds and everything to like sleep over. And we would sit, because she had an iPhone at that time. And she was like, she would pull up creepypastas and stuff and we would read them together. We would freak ourselves out so bad, like, because it'd be during the daytime, we'd be like, everything's cool, like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it'd get closer to, like, 7 or 8, and going down that basement would be terrifying. Because it was, like, an old school, like, spiral staircase.
Oh, dope, yeah.
And that basement would get so dark, and we'd be like, so obviously this hook man is going to come out and just, like, snatch my ass.
I actually used to kind of do that with my grandma. She used to tell, like, me and my sister... Like, she'd just be like, all right, like, she would just tell us ghost stories, but she'd just, like, make them up. She was making them up as she went, and they were, like, amazing. Like, I don't know how I think about that sometimes. I'm like, damn, she used to just make that shit up. Like, she literally, like, she'd be like, well, what kind of story do you want to hear about? And we'd say something like, oh, a hook hand man or something. And she would just make a fucking story up, and they were always crazy. They were always so good. Like, she'd just make them up off the top of her head. Maybe it was just because we're a little kid and we didn't have much expectation, but still, at the same time, it's like, it lured us in, and I know she was making it up on the fucking spot. Like, amazing. She would tell us, like, scary stories like that. I think that's kind of where I started getting interested in it, probably. It was just when me and my sister would go stay with my own grandma, and she would tell us these crazy stories in the dark with, like, flashlights or whatever, that whole thing. And then she would always let me, we'd go and rent movies sometimes, and she'd let me rent, like, scary movies. Like, I remember watching Friday the 13th when I was, like, really young.
Oh, wow.
And it, like, I mean, I wasn't super young, but I was pretty young. And I remember it, like, being terrible. Like, that very original one with Kevin Bacon.
Oof.
Is a good one,
That's
dude.
a spook, man.
Kevin Bacon gets an arrow through his fucking face. Spoilers, but, like, spoilers on this 40-year-old movie or whatever, whenever that thing came. When
It's
they
like
come
from
out,
Parks
like
and Rec when they're like, a spoiler alert, and she's like, This movie's been out for like 20 years.
Yeah. But
I'm a live tweet this bitch.
Yeah, we used to, like, I remember I always would rent scary, she'd let me rent scary movies, and she'd tell us scary stories. It was, yeah, I don't know how she did that, though, just making it up, it was crazy.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it was cool.
Have you had an interaction with the paranormal? The
I
freaky
think
deaky?
once I actually did, where I was like, this was something. There was only one time, and it was,
Did you see something, or did you hear something?
it was like neither. It was like I felt something. So I'll explain.
That's even worse because it's like you don't even have the like.
It wasn't the thing. All right, I'll just explain to you. So when I was in like, I want to say I was in like seventh or eighth grade. It was like junior high. My aunt got cancer, and it was like really bad. And it was like one of those things where it's like, all right, this is eventually going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like this really drawn out thing, and it was like my mom's like one of 8, so this was one sister that she was really close with always growing up. So it like was really just like hard and all this blah blah blah. So she eventually died, and we went to the funeral. It was just like really sad, because she was only like in her 40s.
Yeah.
And she died of cancer. It was probably because she was like a smoker her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons I've never smoked ever. I've never had a cigarette, and I always used to
you've never even like tried one?
never tried a cigarette.
Oh wow.
And I always would get on Ellen when she was like smoking a lot. I was like, just don't. I was like, literally, that's the reason why I like is because I watched my aunt die really young. So anyway, I haven't told the story really. Like I've told the story to only like maybe like 2 people. This is
Insider edition story, guys. This is an exclusive Ben
We're
story.
not friends, exclusive.
You got a sexy whisper for that one, guys.
Like Funny or Die. Whoever watched Funny or Die, they'll just be like exclusive when it's like they made it. But anyway. So she died, had the funeral. The next day, I remember I was in the living room, and I used to like lay down in the middle. Have you been in my house? Like you kind of walked in my house. All right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
know
I've seen this.
that big living room.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Like in there, and so like where the TV is, kind of in that corner.
Yeah, where your mom was hanging out.
Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
TV kind of over there in the corner. I used to just like lay down in front of the TV. So there's like those 2
Yeah.
couches on the wall, and like especially when I was young, I would just lay down right in front of the TV with my feet at it, And I mean the room's big, but at the same time, you can tell when people walk in and out. It's like a really open. My house is not.
Yeah.
My house is not big.
I have a living room kind of like that where it's like everything's very open, so like you can like.
Yeah, you can just feel everything.
Yeah.
And like my house is not big. Like there's literally one hallway. I don't know if you went down there. It's just one hallway when you walk in. It's just, it's just
downstairs.
one hallway.
Yeah.
It's my house is small. So I remember I was laying there in front of the TV. It was the day after, and I could tell someone walked in and sat on the couch behind me, and I just thought it was my sister. I think is who I thought it was, because I know my dad was sitting there watching TV with me, and I was laying in front. So I could tell. I could like. I don't know if I heard it too or what, but I just know like someone walked in and sat down on the couch, and was just like sitting there. And I didn't even like look behind me. I just figured it was my sister or whatever, because no one said anything. Everyone was like really quiet, kind of in the house, just because what just happened the day before. And so we're just watching TV, and something happened or whatever, and I went to go say something to my sister. So I like kind of sat up and went, hey, went to go talk to her, turned around, and there's nobody there. At the same time, I still felt, and I was like, I turned around, I was like, wait, what? I was like, there's somebody there. I was like, I know somebody came in and walked in and sat down, and I know they haven't left. I was like, that was weird. So I was just like, I'm just crazy. Mm-hmm. So I went and laid back down, but then I was like, I still felt like someone was there, and I was like, so I like kept looking a couple times, and like obviously no one ever was there, and I found out like my sister and my mom had not even come into the room in hours, because I had asked my dad, I was like, where's Mom and Emily or whatever, and they were like, he was like, oh, Emily's been in her room all day, and my mom was like on the phone the whole day because it was the day after. So like, it definitely 100% they hadn't even walked even through to go to the kitchen or whatever, and I was like, that was weird, and I still felt, after even explaining that to him, I still felt like there was somebody like sitting there. I was like, that's weird, and then eventually just kind of like stopped. That feeling like stopped. It kind of just like gradually went away. I was like, that's weird. I was just like, whatever, and I kind of like forgot about it. Mm-hmm. And then that night I went to sleep, and I was laying in my room. I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden I felt like, just like, somebody walked in the room. Like, my door was closed. Like, I sleep with the door closed. And all of a sudden, I was like, there's somebody in my room. There's something in my room. I was like, maybe it's the cat. Like, sometimes the cats get in. But at the same time, I don't know. I was like, so I, like, kind of peeked out, and there was nothing there. But it's still, like, there was somebody there. There's something there. I could feel, like, a presence in the room. And I was like, what the fuck? And it started to freak me out. Because I'm like, junior high, what are you, like 13? Like 12 or 13? You know, I'm still pretty young. So I was just like, it's like, holy shit, there's somebody in here. I know, like, I can feel there's something in here.
Yeah.
So I just kind of laid down, and I just feel it was getting closer and closer and closer to me. And I started to, like, freak out. Like, I could just feel it, because I peeked out, like, one more time, and there was absolutely nothing in the room.
Yeah.
Cats weren't in there, nothing. And I could just feel it, and it was freaking me out. I started, like, you know, get freaked the fuck out. My heart was racing, and it just got closer and closer until it felt like it was literally, like, inches away from my face, whatever this presence was. And I was like, oh my god. And then all of a sudden it was like, when I really was at peak, like, what the fuck? I could feel it like, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like whatever it was like, oh, you're freaking out. And it just backed up. It slowly, like, kind of backed up, like, 2 feet. But it was almost like I could pinpoint where it was, and then just, like, backed up 2 feet and just, like, stayed there. And it, like, got a little, like, less, like, tense or whatever. And since I could tell it was, like, backed away, and just kind of, like, it just felt like it was, like, backed away. I was like, oh, I'm not, you know, it's okay, kind of thing. And I was like, so then I started to calm down, and it, like, backed away and just kind of, like, stayed there, just, like, still really close, but, like, it still, like, backed away. And I started to calm down and just stayed there. I remember, like, I just felt that until I, like, fell asleep. I eventually, like, fell asleep. Even the whole time, I could feel it there still. And I woke up and I didn't feel it anymore. But, like, I don't know how to explain it. It was literally, like, it felt I was freaked out and kind of, like, backed up. And I could just feel it and go, like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to freak you out. Like, I'll step back.
Yeah.
And it just stepped back and just was like, I'm just here to, it's okay. Like, it just, whatever it was, I don't know.
Wow.
I still, like, I still think it was, like, my aunt was just, like, hanging around that day. I really do.
I mean, it would all add up. And it's the way you're describing it, too, where it's like,
I can't really explain the way it felt, but it was like I almost was like having this weird, like, conversation through, like, a feeling. Like, I was like, oh my god, I'm freaking out. And it was like, oh shit, I'm not trying to figure you out. So it's like, I'm just gonna step back, but I'm still here. And it was like, and I could feel it, like, the presence, when I felt it go backwards and, like, go away, I was like, oh, okay, it's backing up. And then I could kind of feel it being like, it was like a warming. It was like like a nice kind of, like, sorry, like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. You know,
well,
what I mean?
it's like you've said a couple times where it's whatever you put out, you know, you're gonna understand and receive in return. So, whoever, whatever it was, obviously understood when you were like,
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, I get that you're here, but also at the same time, like, I'm panicking
because I was like,
like,
I literally, like, my heart was racing. I remember it clearly, and I was like, I was literally freaking out, and so, like, because it got really close, and then it was like, when I got to the peak, and I think I even probably started, like, breathing fast, and, like, it could, like, hear me probably, it backed up, it started, slowly backed up, and then it stopped, and it was still, like, probably within arm's reach, but when I could tell, I was like, oh, it backed up, like, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
you know, and so it started to calm down, and then once I started to calm down, I could feel it being, like, a really warming, I don't know, like, I don't know. Like I said, so I still think both those times it was just my aunt coming around the day after her funeral. I don't know. Like, that's what I mean, what else? I don't know.
Had your aunt been to your house at least a few times before?
Oh yeah, my aunt had been around before.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And like I said, my mom had been super upset with it and stuff, and like
yeah.
You know, I don't know. So that's what I think it was her. That, I mean, like I said, I haven't told that story to very many people, but
yeah.
I don't know, just the way it felt, it was like, that was the thing, it was like, it just felt like there was a person in the room, you know, like, you know, when you're, like, in a room, you can tell there's another person sitting on the couch, there's another person standing in the corner, you know, you can just, like, you feel that presence of another thing. That's what I felt. It was like, there's a presence and it's a person. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like that, it was that sensation. So when I felt it, when I was laying in the living room, I was like, that's weird, like, I could have just, you know, and then when my dad was like, they haven't even been in the room, I was like, oh, that's just strange, like, whatever, and then I kind of, like, forgot about it because it gradually went away, and then when I felt it again that night, and I had this, like, weird, like, communication with it, I was like, dude, that's something. You know what I mean?
It's like you even saying, like, you thought maybe, like, at first, oh, it might be one of the cats. I I distinctly know when Moon is in the room with me and when she's not.
It's a different feeling.
I know when Ellen's in the room, like when I'm home alone.
Yeah, and that feeling is for Ellen to the moon is a different feeling. You know what I mean? So like at first I was like, it's a cat, and then like because I literally looked a couple times like while this was happening when I was laying in bed, and I was like, no, there's nothing. And then eventually it freaked me out, and I like just like it was one of those things where you just like shut your eyes really tight when you're like a kid, and then I just kind of like pulled the covers up really like close, and then when I started to do that, and like I was like damn near about to hyperventilate. That's when it like was like, oh sorry, like I could feel it kind of like it's almost like I feel apologize and feel it being like I'm not here to like hurt you, and the presence backed up.
Yeah.
And when I could feel it and I could feel that saying that or whatever, I was like, oh okay. And I started to calm down, and my heart stopped racing. But at the same time, that's the thing, is like I calmed down, but it was still there.
Mm-hmm. And
then it was just like, yeah, I'm just here, kind of just checking on you, and it just kind of sat there until I fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I think that was her.
I mean, ooh, wow,
Isn't that a good story though?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the one weird paranormal experience I've had that I was like, that was 100% something. There was like, I don't know, it's something that like I said, I didn't see it, and I probably didn't even really hear it, but like I don't know, I felt it, and it's like I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know how to explain it like fully, but at the same time, it's I don't know. I think you kind of get what I'm saying. But
of all the things that I've learned about ghosts, spirits, energy, the supernatural, whatever, it's that when you have someone that was close to you or close to a loved one that passes away, it's completely common for that sort of energy or whatever you believe in. So like a ghost, like a spirit.
It's a ghost, or it's just its energy.
It's like a spirit.
Yeah, whatever.
Their spirit is still sort of here because they can't fully move on because they feel the pain of the people that are dealing with it. So the fact that
I will say it made me
it's
feel
likely that it came to your mom, but it just kind of was like, oh well, I'll just hang out.
I will say it like made me feel better. It did. Like you know what I mean. It was like even at that young age, I was like, that was her. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things. It was I don't even just the feeling of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know I don't know how to fully like tell the story unless you like felt it kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it was like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've so far in my life I've been very lucky that I haven't had close relatives pass away, but when my great grandma on my dad's side passed away, I'd only met her a couple times in my life. But I remember at that funeral, for some reason, everything felt like, I mean, after the service, I felt so happy because during the service I had cried.
Yeah.
I'd cried like a couple times thinking about her, thinking about the things that my dad had told me, the things that my grandma had told me about her. And then after that, like I was sitting there eating dinner and all of a sudden like I just felt elated. And there was like no other way to describe it, but I just felt like so happy. And it was almost like I could see everyone else. Like their conversations got happier and like people were laughing. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like immediate, but it was like
gradual.
5 minutes of gradualness.
Wow.
Like everyone was kind of like, oh yeah, like wow, we're having a great time. Like this is really nice. And it was like one of those weird things where it was like this could be very coincidental, or it could be her being like, come on guys, like it's not that sad. Like I'm gone, I'm happy. Like
and kind of put her vibe out into the room.
Yeah. I mean, and that wouldn't surprise me. That's the kind of woman she was, that she would have been like, guys, be happy,
Dude, smile.
Just be a chill bitch. Come on.
Hey.
It's my funeral, but
I'm Cindy's great grandma, and just be a chill bitch. Yeah, no, I mean, I believe it. That's what I'm saying. Like, ever since that happened to me, where I felt that, like, it literally was...
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know how to fully describe it other than the way I just did, but, like, I believe in that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it just... ghosts or spirits or energy, whatever you want to call it, or maybe it's different with every encounter even, maybe it all kind of exists. Mm-hmm. I think that there's something going on, you know what I mean? There's things that like science or whatever can't explain, like what we know, or the science we know now anyway can't explain.
Yeah.
It's like, I just watched this movie with what's his name? Marshall
from How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah. Jason Segel.
Yeah, Jason Segel, yeah.
He's in this movie called a second. I'll think of it. But The Discovery. I think that's what it's called. The Discovery. But it's about his dad is like a scientist and proves that there's an afterlife. He proves there's an afterlife, like scientifically proves there's an afterlife. So, it's called The Discovery, and the world freaks out. And so suicide rate goes through the roof because people they're like, oh, there's an afterlife, so they try to go to it. And it's just crazy. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie.
Oh, shit.
I watched it the other day. I liked it, and it's got that. I love that girl, the actress, Rooney Mara, whatever.
Oh my god,
I love her ever since Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I love that girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, so it's about he like meets her, and they start liking each other, and they're trying to figure out this stuff that his dad's figuring out, and like it's crazy. It's good. It kind of has to do with what we're talking about, like just this afterlife, and like can science really explain it? Like I don't know. It's crazy. I just thought of that right. You should watch that movie.
Yeah.
I think you'd like it.
That's
kind of
dope.
It's a little sad, but at the same time, it's like good. It's like a thriller. You're like,
Yeah.
it's kind of slow paced, but at the same time, it's like a thriller. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? It was cool. It was really cool. So you should watch that. Because I remember I saw like a preview for it a long time ago, and then I just like didn't hear about it. And then I just saw it was on Netflix one day. I was like, oh shit, I've been wanting to see this. But yeah, it's like crazy. Like literally millions of people have killed themselves because they like prove. Because that would happen, you know? I mean, like what if they did
that
prove
would
that?
so happen.
Crazy that'd be. So then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's wild. It's wild.
It's interesting that you bring that up too, because that was another thing I wanted to talk about. Was I believe in demons as well, but demons also have a tie to spirituality, specifically like Christianity and Catholicism and that kind of thing. And at this point in my life, I'm agnostic. There's something out there. It's like with ghosts and spirits and whatever. Like there's something out there. There's certain things that can't be explained. But I
honestly
don't.
like I kind of tie that together. You know what I mean? Like I believe that too. Like there's something going on. There's things that can't be explained.
Yeah.
Maybe that is like gods and angels, or maybe it's just ghosts. Maybe it's one or the other. Maybe it's both. You know what I mean? Like I kind of tie all that together. Like maybe what you feel is like angels and demons. Maybe it's ghosts and poltergeist. Maybe it's both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I kind of put that all. I think it all kind of goes together. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's religious and maybe it's not. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, but I definitely think there's something more than just what is like physical and what like science can explain.
Yeah.
I kind of like tie it together. Like it's.
I think that's why I subscribe to more of a spirituality than like a religion of any kind.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Even though it sounds like I'm so spiritual.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's not like we're sitting here burning sage right now. But at the same time, what you're just getting at is like we're not like religious people, but there's something happening.
And I remember growing up, and my dad used to get on me because my dad's a religious person, and my mom grew up religious, but she's become more spiritual over time. Mm-hmm. And I used to listen to both of them talk. My dad wanted me to go to church. My mom was like, do whatever feels best. This is how I feel. And I started just kind of like weigh my options and be like, you know what? Things don't really make sense. So why wouldn't it be more of a good idea to just say like, I'm spiritual or like I'm agnostic. There's something there, but
you're open to it, but
I don't know what it is.
Subscribe to something specific. Yeah, I would say I'm the same way. Like, I don't know. You're probably more into it than me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, I think it would be ignorant to say there's nothing. At all. There's nothing. Like,
Like, I personally, I don't believe it's what's written in the Bible, what's written in the Quran.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's an Allah, a God, what people have come to understand. I believe that certain parts of different stories are probably true. Like, historically, as a historian, I'm sure you understand that it's like, some things have to be at least innately true, but other parts have to be no one parted a fucking sea and made it, 1,000 feet tall and walked through it, There couldn't have been an ark with 1,000 animals.
They are based in truth, but that's the thing a lot of people don't realize. Like, those books were written... It wasn't written by Jesus.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
Like there was like a Jesus person at some point, whether he had those powers or not, whatever.
Yeah.
But like even that person didn't write that. It was like religious people years later wrote that. So they're like they're supposed to be like metaphorical and you know what I mean. So it's not to take all that shit literally. You're an insane person.
Yeah. And
so fuck you, gay. Let's break up this tension. We're getting a little too real for we're not friends.
No, but I mean, like, Jesus Christ. For those of who, for those of you who obviously can't watch because this isn't filmed, all of a sudden out of nowhere, like Ben is just very calm and he just points right at me, and I was like, "What's actually happening?" And then I
fuck
realized,
you, gay. Ah!
Jesus Christ.
But obviously, like, the world didn't flood and there's one dude on a boat with all the animals in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that is literally impossible. It's literally impossible. That's not a thing that could happen. But, like, some of that stuff, like, happened. Like, I'm sure, like, fucking the Jesus dude had was murdered by the, the whole thing. Like, that stuff, like, happened. Yeah. Some of that stuff happened, but a lot of the others is just kind of... Mm-hmm. Metaphors and just stories to kind of teach you to be a better person. They're supposed to be taken not so literally. I mean, maybe back in the day they were supposed to be taken a little more literally, but
And I mean, I'm not a person who's really into history, but I at least know quite a bit of things. And like, if you think about from the very beginning of time, like word of mouth stories, oral stories being spoken and told throughout time, it's like even with Native Americans. Native Americans have...
Jesus, you were like read my mind. I was just about to say. Native Americans, they tell the stories about the sun talked to the moon or whatever.
Spirit,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the rain spirit.
It's like the same thing. It's
because although those are things you can subscribe to and believe, and to you, or they might actually be true. Who knows? Once again, you don't know. But Native Americans believe in people who are too spirited. Yeah. They believe in certain ancient ghosts and spirits and beings and like...
But there's something to... I don't know if I've ever told you this story. A teacher told me there is something to that. If like someone else believes it, that it is true to some degree. Because okay, I'll tell you this. I took this class. I took a couple classes with this one anthropology teacher here. Mm-hmm. I can't remember his name, but the dude was so interesting. One of the most interesting teachers I've ever had. And he was an anthropology teacher, and his specialty was witchcraft. And he had a witchcraft class.
No shit.
He had a witchcraft class that is like impossible to get into because everyone wants to take it. So
I want to fucking take it. Are you kidding?
I mean, you probably couldn't because you'd have to be in anthropology for a minute to take it. Like, I could have probably taken it if I wanted to, but it like was too outside of what I was doing. But anyway, so he travels to like Europe all the time to study witchcraft and whatever. So I didn't take the witchcraft class, but I still took some anthropology classes with him. So he would tell stories about some of his studies. And so he studies witchcraft, so he'd go and like sorcery, and like we had this like whole like section, like a month where we talked about it. And how, like for instance, we talked about this whole kind of like society that they believe. It's almost like how we believe in like bad luck or like karma. Mm-hmm. They believe like, okay, what we would call bad luck, that for them that means a witch cursed you.
Oh.
So that's the easiest way to like describe it. That's like what they have in their society. It's like, oh, you're having bad luck. That's a witch. That's not bad luck. There's a witch that cursed you. You're cursed by a witch. There's a witch somewhere around here. The person who's a witch might not even realize they're a witch. Curse you somehow. Like it was like this super complicated thing. But the whole thing was like, if they believe it, it's something like if they believe it, it really is true though. That's what's happening. It's a complicated concept, but like I don't know. That's the way to like he kind of describe it. Like they believe it, so it's true. That's what's happening. Mm-hmm. That's what's witches are cursing them. That's what's happening. Like I don't know. But then he told us the story. He goes there. He goes to Europe every so often and interviews people and blah blah. So he goes there, and they find this like insane asylum, but there's like walls around it, like tall walls, and they're like, holy shit, like what's in here? And so they get permission to go in there, and it's run by like priests and stuff. Mm-hmm. So So they go in there and they start.
Oh, it's still like functioning.
Yeah. It's like, it's active. It was like in Romania or something.
Oh,
And,
okay.
And it's in Romania, and it's like, it almost looks like wow, these walls, like what's in here. So they get permission to go in there, and they meet with like the guy who runs it, and he's a priest, and it's run by like priests and religious people, and they take care of like mentally unstable people, or just people that have been abandoned or emotionally, handicapped or whatever. Something like a mental asylum in Europe, and I'm pretty sure it was Romania. So they get permission to go in there, and he's with like a couple students. That's what he takes every time he goes. They go, and so they talk to the head priest, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you want to meet some of the people?" And he goes, and he kind of stops the story. And he's like, "Yeah, he started to introduce me to people to shock me on purpose. Like this is what was, like he knew I wouldn't believe what I was about to see." So the priest goes, "All right, bring in whoever," and it's like they have like dinner with them. So there's like a couple, like they're having dinner with like some of the priests and a couple of the patients.
Mm-hmm.
And so he introduces them to like one of them, and it's this old woman who's like so crippled. He was saying that like her hands, like her, what I mean, like just really crippled. Like she's just
like arthritic to the point.
Arthritic, yes. Like her hands are
up.
all deformed and stuff because she's so arthritic. Like she's just really old. She's got mental problems. She's like physical problems. Like she's just like fucked up.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, she's possessed by a bunch of demons. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, she's possessed by like just a bunch of demons. Like, just like try to talk to her. And like, so they start talking to her, and she's like, she's this woman that's never left the country. She's been there for years. Like, she's never like really met any people. Like, literally, there's no explanation. She's just someone, her family kind of put her there because they couldn't take care of her because it's like, and they talk to her, and like she only speaks like Romanian or wherever the fuck they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, all right, we'll try to talk to one of her demons or whatever. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? They're kind of like, like you're messing with me. Because the priest had kind of been like a little sketchy, and like the way he was kind of like greeting them and stuff. So they start talking, and like she had like a thick like, Eastern Bloc accent. And then they're like, all right, talk to one of her demons or whatever. Like, say hey, whatever the name was. Like, oh, just say hey to her or whatever. So they get the demon's attention, and she starts speaking like perfect English. Like her whole demeanor changed. Like she like straightened up. Like everything changed. Like her, her hands straightened out. Like she spoke without an accent. Like perfect English, and it was a completely different person. He was like, it was a completely different person. He's like, I'm telling you right now, it's not the same person. It was a completely different person. And he's like, he talked to like 3 different people in this white woman. And he's like, there's no way she would know that stuff. Like, she's not been exposed. Like, she never met like an English person who like sat there and taught her how to speak or whatever. Like, she's like a million years old. And like, she could all of a sudden just speak perfect English. She could talk to him completely different. Had all these different experiences. Like, just like, he just like would tell stories like that. It was just like crazy. It was like, so he's like, I don't really have an explanation for that, but like all I know is like they believed it was a demon, so like that's what it was. Like to them that's what it was. It becomes real because everyone there believes it. Kind of what we're talking about. Like, you believe the energy you're putting out, that's what you get back. Like that's real because that's what they believe. And he was saying, like, he was like, it was the most astonishing thing I've ever seen in my life. This woman literally, like, changed. Like, she transformed. Her body language was different. Like, everything was different. It was, like, the way she was so crippled and just unable to even, like, care for herself. And all of a sudden she changed, and she could speak without an accent. Like, literally perfectly. He picked her specifically because it was, like, a demon that could speak English. And he was like, and they all believed in it. He goes, all those people there believed in it. Like, it was all this guy's amazing, and he could tell you stories like that all day. But like, I don't know, it's like there's something to, if you believe it, it is real.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to, you know what I mean? Like, it's.
Did your professor explain the difference between like, because to me, I've learned a little bit about like actual cases of multiple personality disorder versus schizophrenia, which is more like based in paranoia or hearing voices or like believing you have at least
See,
one
the
other
thing
sort of
that-
like personality.
The
but
thing that
because
differed there.
her story is different because
The thing that differed there is the fact that she could like speak English who had never been taught English.
Yeah.
That was like what made them be like, these are demons, or these are other people possessing her.
And in cases of multiple personalities, all the personalities, at least most of them know about each other. Where they know about kind of their host body, and they know,
I think
like,
they all knew of each other. They knew there was other people there. I think that was part of it. But at the same time, it was like, I don't know. Even if you have multiple personalities, that doesn't mean you can speak another language. You know what I mean? Like, your knowledge is still limited to what you have been exposed to.
Yeah.
The whole thing with this woman was like, she's never even been out of the country. She'd never been anywhere. She's been locked up in this place forever. Like, she didn't have visitors. She didn't have like family that came to visit her, but she could speak English without even an accent. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Jesus
so that was like
Christ.
what made it. He was like, he was like, I can't explain it, but like it was a demon. He goes, that's what it was because that's what they said it was. That's what they believe in. That's what everyone believed in. I don't know. There's just like something. That was like we had a whole long like segment of like learning of like. There's something to like if everyone says that's what they believe in, then it's real. Like it's real. If it's real to them, it is real. Like you and me might believe in the same thing, so it doesn't seem right to us, but that's what they think, so it becomes real. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It was wild. The story, like everyone was like on edge when he was telling the story. Everyone was like the way he told it. Like it's been so long since I've heard that story that like I'm not giving it justice. But the way I just remember him telling the story, everyone in the room like. I mean, these are all kids, too, that were about to graduate in grad school or were about to graduate and go into grad school. So these are, like, people that are, like, they're not fucking around with a stupid ghost story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, whatever, dude. But everyone was like, what? Like, the way he was telling the story was like, she, you know, and he met more than one person that was, like, doing this kind of stuff, too. It was like, the priest, like, brought all these people to scare him and to be like, hey, look at this. Like, brought out the people that could speak English and like freak him out. Like it was wild. It was the way he told that story was amazing. Like that dude, I couldn't even imagine. He was like, I was with students and they were like freaked out and like wanted to leave immediately. He goes, they were so terrified they wanted to leave, and he was like, he kind of was like wanted to too, but at the same time was like, I have to kind of listen to this. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Can we go on a quick pee break,
Hey,
Reed? Hey, Reed.
Read me another pee break real quick,
You're
friend.
recovered from lullaby now, right?
Come on, man.
You
Fucking
know.
hungover son of a bitch. So back to some spooky
Back to Goofs and Spooks. We
Goofs
just had
and
a
spooks.
little bit of a tangent other conversation that, you know what, we could release that as like a little bonus feature, you know, like in between podcasts. Like, that was a little, like, 20-minute conversation.
Oh, yeah.
We could release that as something separate. It's
So,
not an official podcast episode, but
we could do like if we
featurette.
hit a certain amount of followers, like if we get like
yeah.
let's do like let's say 30 because we're like, you know, that's like 15 more on Instagram or on like Twitter.
Yeah, we could do something like that. We
So
could figure it out.
yeah, for right now on the podcast, if you're listening to this, we're gonna make it once we hit 30 followers, we'll release our little mini spoof. We'll call it a mini spoof gaff laugh talk thing. And we'll just kind of make it our little like side chat thing that you guys can listen to.
A little in-depth conversation we had. It was a question I had that turned into a.
It's a little more educational. It's not quite so funny, but it relates to something in pop culture.
But it was
that's
like a genuine question. I don't know. You know, it was a good conversation. Good
it
conversation.
relates to something that a lot of people right now are into, or they've watched, or they know about. Like, so it's good and it's relatable, and it's another way for our fans to
just some bonus
interact.
content that we can.
So
release.
Once again, let your friends know about our different social medias. Get us up to 30.
Yeah.
We're holding it for ransom.
The more people that listen, the more we'll release, basically.
Yep.
You know.
And yeah.
More demand, more supply.
There
We're
you
fucking the economy up.
Damn economics right here.
Fuck.
It's rough out here in these streets.
Boy. Do other people in your family have interests like that?
My mom does for sure. My brother kind of. I think he's more got an interest in just like horror movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Not like the way that me and my mom are like ghosts. Like straight up, where's a fucking ghost? Come at me.
Mm-hmm.
I think my grandma's pretty perceptive and like open to stuff. So I don't know if I've ever talked to her about it, but
Yeah.
I mean, for being the religious kind of woman that she is, like, she's pretty, like, you know, she's down to clown when it comes to
Yeah.
interesting stuff like that, like ghosts. Yeah.
Okay.
Next podcast, I
Well,
call my grandma and talk about
I
ghosts.
think, like, I would say my mom's pretty open about stuff. Like, especially when, like, my aunt died and stuff. Like, she was always more open to, like, I guess, I don't know, we used to go to church a lot, and then we kind of stopped once we got older. My mom has always been, I think, is more open to, like, kind of supernatural things and things you can't explain.
Yeah.
My dad and sister are pretty, like, like
Non-believers.
yeah, they're like really like about the scientific,
Yeah.
what's there is there. Like my dad's an engineer, my sister's a scientist. They're about what's in front of like what they, you know. Not that I'm saying they don't believe in things, but like they're definitely way more like no, like this is what happened. That you know.
Is that right brain, like more right brained or whatever?
I think that's what they call it, right?
When you're more logic based.
Yeah, they're like way more logic based. They're both like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both like that. Like I think I've told you, my sister gets more and more like my dad as we get older.
You have.
And so they're way more like that. I think I'm more like my mom in that way, like just I don't know, more open kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I know, like, my grandparents were, like, I don't even know if I'd call them really religious. But, like, you know, when you, like, the older generations, it's what you do. You go to church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just, like, I don't know. At the same time, it's not the same as just, like, being religious. You know what I mean? Like, my grandparents don't talk about religion.
Yeah.
They go to church every Sunday. You know what I mean? So it's like
a force of habit thing.
Yeah, it's
because
different.
it's like I drive past the church and almost there's like sometimes where I'm like, oh,
even back in like
I should be there. And it's
yeah,
like, what?
Even back in like the 60s and 70s and probably even like the 80s, like you went to church every Sunday. You know what I mean? And so like
I mean, my grandma still wears a hat to church because that's what you're supposed to do if you're a lady. You wear a hat
that's
to
what
church.
like my grandma's told me that before. Like she's like, your cousin's like I bought a hat for her to wear inside, and she went to school and got in trouble because she was wearing a hat inside. But like when I was a kid, that's what a lady did. You wore a hat inside. Like you know what I mean? Like that's exactly how. So like I know they still go to church like every Sunday, but at the same time, I wouldn't really call them like super religious people. I've never heard them really talk about God or you know what I mean? Like it's not the same thing. But like I don't know. My mom, I have kind of heard her say some things where she probably believes in like you know supernatural things, but like my dad and sister, I could probably guarantee you, are like, no, that's bullshit. Like, they're not about that.
I have a question for you as a person who, we've talked about both having anxiety and a little bit of depression before and talking about that. I have never actually had what I think is clinically sleep paralysis, but I have had, I think it was like a dream and a little bit of sleep paralysis too, because I think they kind of, it wasn't like a full-blown thing, but there was a time where I knew that I woke up and I couldn't move a muscle except for my head. I could move my head and like look around, and I was in this bedroom here, but Ellen wasn't next to me. She was gone, and I was like looking around, and the TV was still on, so there was a bright light, and over by where I do my makeup, like by that mirror, there was like something. Yeah. And I kept like panicking and like moving my head and trying to move.
Yeah, this happened to me a bunch of times.
And it only lasted for about 5 or 10 seconds. Because I know sleep paralysis can last up to like...
It can last
an
like, hour or something, yeah.
Well, it feels like an hour, yeah. It can last for a very long time. But for me, it was like 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah, I've had that before. And I've had it a bunch.
I've always wondered, like, is that just something your mind conjures up because of...
I think that is more just... That's your mind. There's not anything there, like spiritual or whatever. I think that's just your mind and your dreaming playing tricks on you. I'm almost 100%, like, because that's happened to me so many times. Like, it's a different feeling. Like, I'll have that all the time where it's like someone's there in the room with me. Like, it's literally like it feels like you wake up and you're in the room, you just like can't move, and there's someone in there and they're like coming for you. And it might be slow, it might be fast, but like they're reaching for you or they're like going towards you, and you literally just can't move, and you're just like, no matter how hard you try, you can't move.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, I've had it where it's lasted like, I don't think I've ever had it where it's lasted longer than like 15 minutes, but like even that is like a long fucking time. But like usually it's like a long one's usually like 5 minutes. Like, it's not like, I've never had them like super long, but like it's literally like you can't move, and then like you wake when you finally, it's like even when you finally get out of the dream and you're awake, you still can't move. Like, you can feel the difference between like, I was dreaming, now I'm awake and I can kind of tell, and you still can't move like quite all the way. It's a weird feeling. Like, you literally are like half awake and you can feel like the real world around you, and you're like, I still know there's nothing around, and like you still can't. And when you finally wake up all the way, you can feel yourself like just, and you're like, you wait, and when you're finally awake, your heart's beating. Like, it's just like a dream thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a real thing. I'm about 95% sure it's not like a real, like, someone's in the room. It's like, it's just your mind. It's just like a weird dream. My sisters, one time, because, all right, well, I'll just tell the story first. But like, well, all right, but anyway.
Ben exclusive.
Well, no, we were at a hotel somewhere. One of the last vacations we went on, it's like a whole family, and so we're at a hotel. I think we were going somewhere so far that we stopped at a hotel halfway, and she literally, it was like probably like 4 a.m. or something. My sister just started like screaming in the middle of the night, just like slowly. It was like, you know, it was one of those, like, we just got a hotel, it was 2 beds, my mom and dad in one, and me and my sister in the other, and she starts going, and I started to wake up. I was like, what? And I just heard her go, and it started getting louder, and all of a sudden she just sat up bolt right and started screaming, like, ah, ah.
She's having a night terror.
And I literally, I was, you know, you wake up, and you're like, what? And I just grabbed her by the shoulders, and I was like, Emily. Like, I literally had to like shake her a couple times to like get her to realize what was happening, and like her to like see me actually like take in what was in front of her. And then she started like crying, and it was like, she just like eventually explained, she was like, I just was having this dream, there was someone at the foot of the bed, it was this room, someone's at the foot of the bed like coming for me. And I mean, it's like one, and she was like, I just couldn't move or whatever, like it was just, they were coming for me. And it was just because it's just like, we're in a different place, you know, when you go somewhere weird and you sleep, you don't sleep right.
Yeah.
I just think I don't think it's like a real paranormal experience. It's just you having a bad night's sleep, or you're somewhere weird, or you're stressed out, you have anxiety, and you have one of those dreams.
Do you think even if it's not paranormal, it's also on that same like vibe kind of level?
Oh,
like if you enter, like, I mean, a hotel room, there could possibly be thousands
That's
of
true.
people.
I didn't really think about it like that. Maybe like there's a bad vibe where you're sleeping. Yeah. And that could happen. That could be a thing, but I think it's, if I was to analyze it, I think it's more like it happens when you're stressed or anxious, or you're in a new environment trying to get some rest, and you know you're naturally not comfortable.
Like a huge combination of things.
Yeah, I think it's more of that but at the same time, that could be true though. Like, it could be a combination of like, hey, maybe there's some bad vibes in here. But that's kind of that, I mean, that would make sense. Like, but I think that kind of, the like bad vibe thing kind of goes in what I'm saying with like, you're in a new place. Like, if you go to a new place and you just like feel uncomfortable, that could be partly because there's a bad vibe to the room. You know what I mean? So it could be like kind of both. It's kind of like a thing, like you go somewhere and you're like, oh, I don't feel comfortable here, there's like a weird vibe. Well, it could be a weird vibe because there's weird energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, everyone's had that, like, you're like, oh, I'm on vacation, I'm sleeping in a weird place. Or you go to a friend's house and you don't sleep as well. Well, it could be partly you're not sleeping as well because there's weird energy there. So it could be both.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That's why I kind of like it. You don't really know. That's kind of why I like the whole, like, oh, this is just like a weird... There's weird stuff you don't want to explain. I like there being stuff... I like there being stuff in the world that you can't explain fully. I like there just being like a little bit of mystery to it. Because I just grew up with some people in my family that are...
Science is a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, well, I just grew up into my family with... People in my family that are so, like, logical and, like, oh, this is how it is. And, you know, the school I went to was, like, very, like, academic and, like, hey, this is what, you know, like... You know, I didn't really grow up super religious, so I kind of like encountering things that are a little unexplainable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think, like, what do you think that sleep paralysis is? I think it's just bad sleeping, basically. Stress and bad sleeping.
For me, from what I've understood about sleep paralysis, most people that are that struggle with mental illness are usually the people that deal with sleep paralysis. So I'm assuming it has something to do with your neurotransmitters a little bit, just like you had a lack of something during the day, or like something's going on to the point where it affects your sleeping state. And so I think it also has something to do with the vibe too, like if you go to bed and you had a bad day, like, and you're mentally ill, like something's going to
that's basically
fuck
what I'm
you
saying,
up.
you know, just a bad day, you're stressed, you're anxious, you're depressed, whatever. Because I get it. I mean, I wouldn't say it happens to me frequently. I wouldn't say, like, constantly, but, like, sometimes it does. Sometimes I'll have it 2 or 3 times in, like, 2 weeks. And then I won't have it happen for months.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? So I think it's more,
yeah,
you know, whatever, induced by your state of mind at the time, whether you're, you know, you're restless and stressed out and anxious and bad things are going on, like, you know, bad vibes just in general, and you go to sleep and, you know, like, dreams are just, you know, your brain kind of going over things that you've already, like, thought of that day, you know what I mean? Like, that's what dreams supposedly are, just like kind of like a recap of what you've gone through.
Yeah.
So I had this crazy dream last night, dude. I think it was last night, where I, like, traveled the world. Like, okay, first off, let me ask you, do you ever have dreams where, like it's a night and you're dreaming, because, you know, you don't dream every night, or at least you don't apparently they say you dream every night but you don't remember it, but like nights where you, like, remember dreams, and, like, it feels like you've had, like, several dreams that night, you know, where it's like you've had, I don't know, say you're at the grocery and you had, like, a full little, like, scene, and then the next thing you remember you were at
like a play
the
in multiple
circus
acts.
And it has nothing to do with the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
a play in multiple acts.
but, you know, just like multiple, what I would describe as multiple dreams in one night. Like, you've had that before. So I had a dream where I literally, like, traveled the world. So I was, like, in China. Like, literally, it was like, the whole dream was like, all right, I'm traveling the world. So I traveled to China, and then I went to, like, Korea, and then I went to, like, Brazil, and then I went somewhere else. And it was, like, it felt really real, and it felt like it was, like, amazing. I was like, I saw these things, and, like, I had people that went with me. I remember, like, friends that I knew, like, went with me, but then, like, every time we went out, I lost them and just started hanging out with the locals and, like, just did stuff with, like, local people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it was one of those days where I had different dreams. So then, like, it went to a different dream, and I just was, like, in a completely different thing after that. But at the same time, it was, like, I was so excited about traveling the world that this new dream, I was like, yeah, I just got back from, like, traveling the world. I went to, like, China. Like, literally, like, it had, like, 4 different dreams that night, and every single one I was like, oh, yeah, I just traveled the world. I went to China. I went to Brazil. Like, I literally named all the places in that dream. It was so crazy. And then I woke up, I was like, what the fuck? It was like, oh, what the fuck just happened? Like, I don't know. It was crazy.
My dreams are never interconnected like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's never really happened like that, but that one was, like, interconnected. And I was like, holy shit. That's why I, like, woke up and my, like, brain was in overload. I was like, what the fuck? I was
crazy.
Like, that was insane. It was literally, I was, like, bragging in each separate dream. I was like, dude, I just got back from traveling. I went to China. I went to, like, North and South Korea. I went to Brazil. And there was, like, one other place, and I can't remember now. it was like there's one other place probably in like Europe, and I was like, I went there too. And like in every dream that had nothing to do with it at all. I was like, I told the person, I was like, oh, and they were always like, okay, like what the fuck? I don't know. It was crazy. Anyway,
I've never had a dream like that.
I don't know, but that's also like my actual dream is like I literally want to travel the world. I want to go everywhere. There's like literally not a place in the world I wouldn't go and at least visit for a couple days.
Yeah.
Like I don't know of any place where I'm like I don't want to go there. Like I would never go there. I would go
for sure
anywhere at least for a couple days. I want to see everything. I want to know. I don't know. Once again, the historian and anthropologist in me. I want to see and experience everything,
including the supernatural.
Whoa! Have you ever checked the email? I haven't ever checked the email.
Oh yeah, I check the email a lot.
Oh, do we get anything? No.
we have had quite a few emails, of course, from sponsors and everything.
Oh yeah.
Sponsors
quickly coming.
We have to tell them like, yeah, we can't do everyone.
Yeah. No, seriously though, people like let us know just anything, even if you're like, oh, that was cool. Oh, that was lame. Whatever. Like seriously, anything would be appreciated.
Yeah, we would love feedback from you guys, no matter what it is.
Or suggestions, or I don't know. Yeah, literally anything you have to say, anything, or just message us, DM us, Twitter, Instagram. What are those again? I know. What is it?
Twitter, Instagram, Gmail.
Yeah, but what's the Twitter is what? Where underscore not friends.
And then Instagram is We're Not Friends Podcast,
and then Gmail is We're Not Friends Podcast at gmail.com. Yeah. So hit us up, bitches.
Our number one priority is keeping you guys entertained and updated. So if there's any new information, we will be posting it on social media, so you'll want to be the first to know about all that. Oh yeah,
you're gonna tell them about that fresh new juicy intel?
I'm gonna just in case it's not actually happening, I'll put it in here, but I'll edit it out if it's not. So we are on the iTunes podcast store. If you
How did you even get on? I don't even know how you do that. I thought you had to like pay to be on there. Like, how did you do that?
I'm just really smart.
She's a savvy ass business bitch. Business bitch.
The business bitch. Showed them my tits, and they said, "You're on."
What? I didn't even get to see. What the fuck,
I would
dude?
do anything for this podcast.
If you want me to stay, you'll show me right now.
After 10,000 subscribers, we'll put out a live video where I show Ben my tits.
And I'll show her my balls. Let's go.
So, yeah, that's the news,
do it.
guys.
I'll do that for 10,000 followers. I don't give a fuck.
For 10,000 followers, I'll put my tits on the internet.
Yeah.
At that point, we're making money.
I'll be bare ass naked. I don't give a fuck.
But, yeah, so if you go to podcast and you type We're Not Friends, you'll see our logo. Just hit subscribe like the bad bitch that you are, because I know you are. And you will be in on every single episode. You'll be ready to go on We're Not Friends podcast.
Hey. All right, it's been real.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
This has been the least funny episode, but we had a pretty good conversation, I feel like. There's some good content in there, I think. Some good stories.
Oh, yeah. If you have your own ghost stories, please feel free to send us some emails.
Oh, I want to hear some other people's ghost stories, dude. I'll read that. Oh, that would be interesting as fuck. Yeah.
Feel free to email us or DM us. We would love to read your stories.
I already got hyped at the idea of that.
Oh, yeah.
So, don't be a dick. Fucking hit us up, bitch. I want to hear some ghost stories, and we'll tell that shit, and we'll talk about it, and it'll be dope. That'd be dope.
Send us your personal ghost stories, links to creepypastas that absolutely make you want to shit the bed, things that have happened to friends, whatever you feel comfortable with. We would love to hear them. Get spooky, get freaky.
One time, I was the last person on Earth, and then I heard a knock on the door. Did Moon just fart? Did you hear that?
It sounded like it, honestly.
I think it was just maybe her nails on the thing, but Probably. It sounded like, after I did that, it just sounded like her going, like just...
And that is a ghost fart, friends.
And that is episode 3.
All right, thanks for tuning in.
Catch you on the other side.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
Yeah.
Bye.